Hey guys, this is Mark Howard, author of the Griffin Legends fantasy novel series. Thanks for joining me here. We've got some exciting things going on still. I am into the third chapter of Godfrey Before the Phoenix now. It's really exciting to be this deep into the series overall. Writing is obviously a passion of mine, and it's one thing to dabble a little bit into writing and get, say, a scene done or even a chapter, right? And for a lot of authors, getting just one book out is a pretty monumental task, right? There's a statistic out there goes something to the effect of 99% of people who want to start a novel never finish, and then out of those who do finish a first draft, only 1% of those people actually go on to finish revising, editing, and then actually get it published. So to do that beyond a first book and go into a second book, get that done, and now working on a third, I've got no idea what the statistics are like on that, but I'm amazed to be this far into the story. It's one of those things that it just goes to show that when you put in a little bit of effort every day, you're eventually going to get there, right? No matter what it is, whether it's writing or some other sort of art, right? We've kind of talked about this idea before on this channel, right? That talent is great. Obviously, we want to build on our talents, expand them, self-improvement, all of that kind of stuff. But more important than raw talent is the dedication of time, right? And when we dedicate our time to what we think is important, then we will eventually achieve the results we're looking for. And so, anyway, didn't want to make this whole video about that, but it's always worth making a little bit of a push for more self-discipline in our lives, right? I think a lot of us, it's easier to kick back and relax and say, tomorrow. But yeah, don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. Anyway, a little bit of particulars about this latest work in progress. Sorry, it's a little late on a Friday here for me. But without going into spoilers or anything, what I'm noticing here just as a general trend is I'm able to get a little bit deeper into the meat of the story earlier on, right? I think that's just kind of the nature of being in the third book of a series, right? We've already kind of established a lot of our more central characters, and so there is less introductions for that stuff there. I'm also noticing that my average chapter length is getting a bit longer. Now, I'm only a few chapters in here, so I don't know if this pattern will really hold throughout the novel, but for my first book, Godfrey's Crusade, I want to say the average chapter was about 4,000 to 5,000 words, which is not a bad chapter length, right? I think that's respectable now in hindsight. My second book, Godfrey Under Siege, that book, the average chapter length was a bit higher. That one, we were pushing more like 5,000 to 6,000 words per chapter. And now for these first few chapters for Godfrey Before the Phoenix, we're pushing over 6,000 words per chapter so far. So if that holds true, this is going to be kind of a chunky book. Not maybe as chunky as some other books out there, right? I have little desire to top Brandon Sanderson or George R.R. Martin on top of word count. I think overall, I'm mostly concerned with telling a complete story rather than shooting for an arbitrary length. But I think this is a good sign, right? That as this series is developing, we have more interesting things going on with a wider cast of characters. And so it stands to reason that each chapter will be a little bit longer as we tie in various plot threads there. So I think that's overall a good thing here. Let's see. Other things that I want to mention about this book right now. I'm putting myself on the spot with this. It's like, oh, what else do I want to say? Let's see here. So we talked about the overall length. Progress, I think, is going fairly well. Unfortunately, the strains of balancing work, family, commitments to church and other obligations there, it does make it so that I can't write a lot per day, but I'm sure to write at least a little bit every day. And so we're going to get there sooner or later, hopefully sooner rather than later. Even if I can only get a couple pages worth of material down per session, I think that that's going to help us make sure that we can get to where we need to be. Again, cross our fingers, late 2025. We're looking for a publication date there. I don't want to jinx it. Life just happens all the time. And so it's a tentative release date of late 2025, maybe early 2026. But I'm optimistic that we're going to get really close to late 2025 for that release date. Let's see, other things about it. We are, I found with my first book, there was a little bit more discovery writing and a little bit less outlined writing, at least at first. But with my second and now third books, I'm discovering that it's a little bit easier to just have the outline all planned out and then work within that outline, right? I'm not beholden to outlines. I don't want the plot to feel contrived, and I want there to be room for organic growth. But I've found that with my second, and what's looking to happen with the third book is I'm following the outline fairly closely. There's a few items where I will have some variance in them. I will make decisions like, okay, maybe this part of the outline doesn't really work now that I'm actually writing the scene. There's some minor decisions like that happen along the way, right? Things like, oh, I wanted this to be in chapter 2, but there's not really room for it, so we'll push this to chapter 3, right? So there's things like that which happen, which leaves room for that organic growth there. But I've kind of found just with current time constraints that I'm working under, that oftentimes it's easiest to just look at my outline and say, okay, here's where I've gone, here's where I'm trying to go, and then just write according to what has been planned out. And that's simply because it's like, well, right now I don't have a whole lot of time to think about what I want to write, so I passed me on the back there for having thought about it before. Anyway, that's what I got here for just this quick little video update. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Feel free to like the video, comment, share, subscribe, all of that stuff that YouTube folks say to try to grow their channels here. But anyway, I hope you guys have a good one, and we will catch you next time.